this meeting to order. Please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'm going to grab the agenda. Sure.
Sorry, I texted you.
Man, so...
Oh, they won by quite a bit, so.
Amanda, are you over the gym?
Yeah.
Hey.
Was there definitely?
Go.
That's a big company.
All right.
What is it?
All right, first thing we have on our agenda is approval of minutes, public and non-public, from January 13th. I'll entertain a motion for those.
I move to approve the minutes, both public and non-public, from January 13th.
I'll second. All right. Any comments, questions, concerns on either of those? All right. Seeing none. All those in favor of approving minutes, public and non-public, of January 13th, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions? All right. Public comment. Anyone right now? Public comment? No? Wonderful. All right. Presentation. Presentation from Roberge and Company for the audit. Hello.
Wow. Hello.
Put you right first on the agenda, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I will try to be brief. First of all, thank you for having me. It's nice to get out and see the board. We were here last year. The good news is our opinion in the financial statements is what we call unmodified, which means we didn't identify anything in the financials that we believe needed to be corrected. Or if there were any corrections, then they were done by management beforehand. So the financial statements themselves are unmodified. I'm going to review a communication that we had. We should have a governance communication that is in the packet along with the financial statements. In that, it describes what your accounting policies are. It describes the financial statements. It indicates that they were clear and consistent with prior years. It also indicates that we had no difficulties in working with management. There were no uncorrected misstatements in the financial statements that we identified. It indicates that management and the board chair has signed off on a management representation letter that provides representations to us regarding your financial statements. It also indicates in there that you take responsibility for your financial statements. I do assist in the preparation of your financials, but management does take responsibility for those. In there was also, under other items, we referenced and emphasized succession planning, and that the board should be cognizant of your management, who you have, and also annually making it part of your planning to review your succession planning. What we're finding is that in most entities, in most school districts now, people that leave that have a long time tenure, it's been hard to replace them. And it's also...
You're sitting next to our former business administrator.
Yes,
He has no doubt.
Yes.
So it's something that you really want to be aware of.
Point well taken, yeah.
The pool of potential people out there is very slim. And so if you can work, within your entity and groom people that are coming up to make sure that they can fill the positions that you have that are essential, then it's something that you really want to consider. And also, finally, in that governance communication, it just indicates that there's some supplementary information in there, which is some of your funds that are what we consider non-major, that we reviewed how those were prepared, and we had no issues with those. As far as your financial statements, I think I'd just like to reference you to page 24, if you have those with you. And this is what we call your fund-based financial statements. And just to briefly outline how your financial statements are set up. Out in the back, there's your budget versus actual for your general fund. which is going to be very familiar to you if you look at it. It identifies what your estimated revenues were and what your actual revenues were. It compares what your appropriations were that were voted at district meeting to what you actually expect for that year. And that's on what we call a budgetary basis. And there's a difference between budgetary, modified accrual, and full accrual, which are the three sections that you have for financial statements. The page that I'm referring you to, on page 24, is what we call your fund-based financial statements, and this is on a modified accrual basis. It doesn't have any long-term debt in it. It doesn't have any capital assets in it that are long-term as well. Those are included in what we call the government-wide financial statements, which is the first set of financial statements that you'll see in your financial statements section. But the balance sheet on page 24 is what usually everybody's most concerned with. That identifies what your fund balance is at year end. And if you take a look at yours, you have three different components to your fund balance. The first one is what we call committed. That is basically your capital reserve funds that you have available. And for governmental reporting purposes, those have to be reported as part of your general fund. However, you generally don't consider them part of your general fund. You think of them as something that's been set aside and it's literally held by the trustee of trust funds, who's the custodian for those funds. But for financial reporting, they're actually part of your fund balance. But as you can see, they're carved out and they're shown separately as a committed fund balance. So in this number, you have $1.4 million, a little over $1 million is what's being held by the trustees, and $375,000 of that is what you had committed at your district meeting to be transferred to the trustees. So that's coming out of your available fund balance as of June 30th of 2025. The second piece, which is called an assigned fund balance, that's basically encumbrances. Those are obligations that you've committed to. And so you're basically taking that spending authority that was authorized in 2025 and you're carrying it forward to be used in 2026. It would be open purchase orders, any contracts or other obligations that you have to specific vendors. And then finally, the last piece is what you use for rate setting, and that's the unassigned fund balance. And as of June 30th, 25, you had $487,000 in unassigned fund balance. So if you were to use that to reduce the assessment to the member towns, then that's the amount that you would have available to be used. And now I will open up any questions that you may have.
All right. Anyone on the board with any questions?
Oh, I'm hurt.
I know, right? I'm sitting here going like, man, what can I think of? But like, this is a pretty good audit. Like, we did.
That's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah,
easy
very
to read.
comprehensive.
Yeah, I mean, what I would suggest is that if you have looked through the financials or if you have not looked through the financials, please look through them. And if you have questions on anything, feel free to reach out, first of all, to Michelle.
Yep.
And then afterwards, reach out to me and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you do have or anything. The financials are very comprehensive. And they're in a format that's required by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. So there's a lot of stuff in there that you typically don't see. I mean, in here, just to reference a couple of things. The net pension liability is in here, and it's what your portion of the New Hampshire retirement system's unfunded liability is. And it's basically a percentage of all the contributions for all members of the system. There's also in here what we call other post-employment benefits. And there's two components to that. One is called the implicit rate subsidy, which is the amount that you pay for your active members for health insurance. That's higher than it should be because we use a blended rate in calculating the premium, and it includes retirees. So if you took the retirees out, the amount that you pay for your active members would actually be less. So we have to report that difference as a liability. I don't agree with the Accounting Standards Board on that. I don't think it should be a liability, but it's required to be reported in there. So there's a lot of that stuff in there. There's also all of your capital assets are in there. Your buildings, your vehicles, all of your furniture and equipment are in there, and they're depreciated, and it shows depreciation in those statements up front. One other thing that I would like to point out while I'm rambling is there's been tremendous focus now in the accounting world on federal money. And so we do spend more than, for 25, it was $750,000 in federal money. we have to do what's called a single audit. We have to do a ton of compliance work on those federal dollars, even though it's not an awful lot. That threshold for 2026 goes up to $1 million. It's not a big difference. For last year, I think you had a little over $2 million. Yeah, $2.3 million in federal funds. And that includes your lunch program, nutrition reimbursements that you get that are federal. They consider those expenditures. So there was about $250,000 in lunch reimbursements. So really, you had about $2 million in federal money, and some of that was actually COVID related. $1.4 million was. So next year, without that money, you may not be subject to single audit.
That'd be nice.
Which means, well, it'll be me as your auditor next year. I don't have to do the compliance work, the significant compliance work that we do if you do have a single audit. And that's where, I mention that because that's where all the focus is in the accounting world. And so your management, in particular your financial people, need to take some courses on what the single audit requirements are and what the compliance supplement is and what their responsibility is as far as these federal dollars, because the feds require that you have internal controls in place to make sure that you're complying with all of the federal compliance requirements, and it's something that we as auditors have to test, and we've done that each year. The state was real good a few years ago in putting out policies to help districts and municipalities with these internal controls to make sure that they have those in place. And so you actually adopted a lot of those policies, and those controls are in place. But it's significant, it really is significant, but you want to just make sure that you at least understand what your responsibility is when it comes to federal expenditures.
One other thing I want to say thank you for, and just point out to the rest of the board, is if you look here on the page 19 and 20 of the full report there, you'll see economic factors and budgets. These are just different factors, significant activities or events which will have an impact on future district finances. Just take a look through that, just as board members, so that you're aware of what they're factoring in, what we need to remember, be cognizant of. There's a lot of good things in this audit that give us a lot of steps to take in the future. I appreciate that about succession planning. That's very good. That's something we need to make sure we're on top of and stuff. But I like this because it's a nice comprehensive list that details what our financial picture looks like. And this is
And I'm glad you brought that up because that's in the first section of your financial statements that's called management's discussion and analysis. And that's not something that I prepare. That's what management prepares.
Right.
Okay, so that last page that you're referring to is management discussion. That's management identifying to the readers of these financial statements economic factors and considerations in preparing the budget for the subsequent year. And so those are things that management puts in there. The rest of that section, that's like the last page of your MD&A, your management discussion analysis. The pages before that, management has the discretion of putting whatever they want in there for explanation so that readers have a better idea of what's going on. And there's some new standards now that require that there's more detail put into the MD&A, but again, it's management's. If this piece wasn't in here, I could still give you an opinion in your financial statements, and the MD&A, whole MD&A section wouldn't even have to be in there. Because it's not something that I prepare as an auditor. There's standard components that have to be in there, and so I will put those together, but management is the one that is actually responsible for that whole section of the financials.
Thank you for putting all that together. But it's just very handy to be part of the whole package, I guess, as well. Cool. Anything else? Anything else from you that you want to share with us, or?
No, I think that's
all right. Anything else from the board? Yeah, go ahead.
You had mentioned prepping for cessation.
Yes.
So how do other districts do that? Do they do a survey? Because it seems a little personal unless someone was very open about oh, I'm going to retire in so many years.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's a matter of looking at each position and saying, okay, who's there and who is potentially coming up that may fill that position. And it's hard because we have budget constraints. And you can't have two people that really fill that same position at the same time, but you have to kind of just be aware that we need to be looking, or if there is someone within the entity who's coming up through that we think we want to groom for some of these positions, then we want to address that. It's a matter of looking at the positions that you do have and who you have that you think may fill those positions.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not something that's easy,
Yeah, it's not.
but it's something that needs to be considered.
Yeah.
My boss told me basically when I hire somebody, view them as somebody that can take your job. So like, that's a strong position of leadership, is understanding that you need to be having people that are coming, like you're training them to take your job. Like I have a great hope that my new hire is going to take my job someday. So I think that's maybe the only way you can do
No,
that.
that's good because you're all moving
And
and
just
advancing,
open
right?
conversations, I think, with people and what their goals are. Like when I do evaluations for my team, I ask them, what are your ultimate career goals? And I think, understanding that is probably.
And the larger the entity, the easier it is to do.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
You have layers within each department.
You have a bigger bench.
But with municipalities and school districts, we're really not that big, and we run into these budget constraints where if you try and hire somebody else, which I think most of your administration needs additional help now because the regulatory requirements and the amount that we're required to keep track of now has increased exponentially over the years, and yet the number of people hasn't changed. So it's very hard when you're battling that budget constraint and taxpayers who, understandably, are tired of paying property taxes because that's where it all ends right now. It's all on their shoulders. I talked with another board member at another larger SAU group for about an hour, and they were questioning how come it took so long to get their financials done. And at the end of the conversation, I said, well, I can issue your financials right away after year end, but you're going to get an adverse opinion on it. And I said, you also need, it seems to me, a lot of additional resources in order to get this stuff done. But their concern was that taxpayers are already trying to cut the budget to start with.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you get additional resources to help get stuff done when you can't get the money to do it?
Yeah.
That being said, when I read through this and I was trying to understand what the succession planning was, it's like we're caught in a rock and a hard place as a board because we have public telling us that they want positions cut to drop the budget. And then how does it apply to our strategic planning? Because we really don't know what the future holds, but we do have policies in place. So basically our planning for the strategic planning, we'd have to just fall back on our policies because I don't know how else you manage it.
You just have to be aware. What I'm seeing is we've had long-term business administrators, you have one right here, and all of our entities right now that are in trouble, the ones that somebody that's been there for a long time left, and you just can't fill that position anymore.
Yeah.
Take a look at human resources as an example. Most districts don't have a human resources director or personnel, but yet they're responsible for everything human resources related, and just health insurance is something that requires at least a full-time person at a district your size.
Yeah.
When we do audits and we try and figure out health insurance, it's a nightmare. And if you think about it, in order to keep track of it, somebody has to keep a spreadsheet with a list of all of the employees, how much is the district portion, how much is the employee contributing, and what's the total. And then, okay, how do we then withhold their piece from it? And, the rates are changing on a calendar year basis instead of a fiscal year basis. And then it is an absolute nightmare. And that's just one tiny piece of human resources.
Yeah. We've been extremely lucky that Deb's been able to help us with the transition. Michelle's been a great addition here for us. So, we're very lucky compared to, I think, other districts. Knock on wood. I hope.
Yeah, and I'm very biased because I'm in an accounting position, but I think finance and accounting is something that you're gonna find a hard time getting people, because there is no one out there that's taking a CPA exam anymore. There are no accountants. And if you start to look for them, there aren't any.
Yeah.
So trying to fill a finance position with somebody that has accounting experience or an accounting degree now is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's a lot of struggles right now with all municipalities. And, you know, I know obviously, you know, boards are very concerned right now, especially when you have, you know, Claremont situation going on. I've got a couple that are a year and a half, 2 years behind, and the boards are all calling, they're saying, how do we get this done? I said, well, you need to talk to management, because I don't have the information to audit yet.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of succession plan, does anyone remember a couple years ago, Hartford, they tried to hire a second superintendent at the same time?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Was
Was
that
that
last year? Was that just last year? Time
That was
flies.
terrible.
That did not go, that went over like a lead balloon. That did not go over well
They
at
got
all.
paid a huge payout to get one of them to go away.
Exactly, yeah, that did. So I'm glad we learned our lessons from our neighbors.
Yeah, in elementary school when I was there.
Let our neighbors do those things, and then we'll figure out what works, so.
He was the director especially.
Anything else from the board on the audit there? All right, cool. Thank you so much for bringing this with us,
You're welcome.
sharing this
Thank
with
you
us.
for having me.
If you have any
Appreciate it.
further questions, Michelle, and then if there's even trickier questions, she'll get in touch with you, I guess, but
Certainly.
awesome.
Glad to answer anything at any time.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, public comment, there's no public comment at this time. All right, student representative report. Abby, how you doing?
For sports,
Yeah, she
for
emailed.
basketball.
So if you feel like
Monday, sports is as of Monday.
Uh-huh.
They've been undefeated.
Yes, I've seen that, it's
Girls
great.
basketball is doing pretty well. They've only got 3 losses.
That's good too.
Wrestling had a couple losses, couple wins. I think they're about even. Track and field has had a great season for individual people. I think it was last Saturday, Georgia Con, he qualified for New Balance Indoor Nationals for throw. And there were a lot of other PRs for the school and school records and personal records, which was really amazing. Ice hockey finally had their first win, boys ice hockey, and girls
Alright.
ice hockey is doing well with just 1 loss.
Yeah.
And ski jumping, they don't have any, nothing new, but they do have 2 upcoming events. The arts, everyone's working on their music for the spring concert, which will be a collaboration with the 7th and 8th grade concert at middle school. And select students attended Lakes Region Band and Choir Festival on Saturday the 17th. For the art department, they had a couple talented art students that'll have their photography work at the Hanover Library. And a couple students are also in AVA's 18th annual high school exhibition. And then AV and a couple art students toured NHPR studios for the day, learning about how to broadcast, hold podcasts, things like that. And the art students got to see their work that was showcased because they won a young artist competition hosted by NHPR.
Cool.
For clubs, student council has been working on the Winter Carnival and working on making quarterly awards more fun and engaging. So has been continuing to meet. NHS, our concessions were successful, and our reading to pre-K at both schools has been postponed because of the snow day.
Yep.
Art has been working on individual projects. Writers Guild is finishing up their literary magazine. Interact is hoping to offer childcare during the deliberative session and working on the annual dessert auction. Theater, the rehearsals have begun for the Winter Baz, which is the combined show with IRS, and the show dates are set for March 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Origami is currently accumulating origami to send to hospitals, and we've collected about 1,000 creations so far. Math team has a meet in early February. DI's competition is approaching, and Quiz Bowl had their episode of Grand State Challenge, and it will air in March. And we're wrapping up the season with a couple more meets for the year. And recently, FBLA during Thursday Flex last week had a meeting to see who might be interested in restarting the program. And we were sharing some ideas on what we might want to do, like selling items at Winter Carnival, attending leadership conferences, and touring local businesses. Other news for the other schools, IRS now has a student leadership committee which is 2 students from each grade level, and they're working on creating a positive climate. And they are a great group of students, and they already have it started. And CES had 156 acts of kindness last week, and they'll be celebrating with a donut party. And many classrooms have been taking advantage of the Hampshire Museum kits and learning about rocks. And 2nd grade just did, and we will meet with a park ranger from Acadia to learn about animal adaptations. And EVS will be having their kindness week this week with spirit days and collecting food items for Friends of Mascoma.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Abby. Any questions for Abby on that? Busy, busy, busy. And you have to go now, right?
I
All right.
do.
Yep. Town of Orange calls.
That's great.
All right. We still have a quorum, so that's good. All right, cool. Yeah, any questions for Abby on that? Sounds like you guys are back in the swing of things after vacation. You got Winter Carnival coming up. Bonfire still happening with that. All right. Cool. All right. Coming up next, we have EIC. Diane, do you want to go over what you guys talked about there?
Sure, we talked about senior seminar and how to embed some of the requirements for that into the regular ed classes, because students, are not engaged otherwise. So if they have to do it in a regular ed class, chances are they'll get the information they need and be able to practice the skills and so forth. Stephanie went over the program of studies, and she did meet with us. Was it just here? She came for the Ed 306s and went over that earlier in the year anyway. So, she just talked about how they were going to, make sure they meet all those expectations, and how some, where they'll be teaching things like logic and rhetoric might be within social studies and English and so forth, that certain classes are going to meet every other year, so that, like sociology 1 year, psychology the next, and so forth. We tabled the dress code, and pretty much tabled the valedictorian, salutatorian discussion. Our next meeting is in February. We don't meet in March. And yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions for Diane on that?
So, the senior seminar is a requirement for graduation, is that right?
Well,
Or it's not.
No.
no, they used to have senior seminar. There are certain skills that are required, from what I understand, and they're going to be embedded into certain classes so that they make sure they meet those expectations.
So a quick background on this is when we did our strategic plan, we found that members of the community felt that there were some important life skills that kids needed to learn by the time they left the school. And I mean, the one people always point out to is balance a checkbook, which may not be practical today's age. But, change a tire, things like that. So there are certain skills that they wanted to make sure. So first we tried it with Mascoma 101, which was a freshman class that you would take your freshman year. That kind of hit at the same time as COVID. It kind of rolled out, kind of funky. We took it, retooled it, and looked at it as a senior seminar to see maybe some of the skills, because they weren't necessarily appropriate for freshmen. It was kind of lost on them, like the college search stuff and the career stuff. So we switched it to a senior seminar, try and play with that. But now it's more like we take those skills and figure out how to embed those tasks into other courses. But it's also a way just for kids to be able to fill out other class, get credit in their senior year. Because we were also trying to eliminate kids having 4 study halls.
Right.
And that sort of thing.
What is it to be full-time? 5, that's okay. All right.
I think some of the hope with senior seminar would also become, it would morph into a community service
Right.
project type of thing. And we just haven't been able to get that done yet. Abby, are you taking senior seminar now? Did you take it first semester, second?
I'm a junior, so no.
Oh, so you're I can speak about my last year's senior. I thought you were a senior. That is a compliment. And he had senior seminar second semester.
Yeah.
His buddies that had it first semester were
Yeah.
able to get their college essay done with
Yeah.
help on the
Yeah,
application.
that was kind of where I was thinking with this, is
Yeah.
that like,
It was
it has to
perfect.
only be offered like semester one
Yeah.
because of the college essay.
Yeah.
It was great. I don't know where Adeline is.
I
Is
think
she
she
is
got
a
out of
senior.
it. She got out of it, I think,
Oh,
somehow.
I mean, it's not a have to take.
Yeah, no,
It's
she
more of a
did not. She's not taking it because
Is
she.
she in AP though? or
She's
something?
done a bunch of AP classes,
Yeah,
so
so
all of
that's
her
probably
college
why.
essays got done through AP English.
Yeah,
and stuff.
so it was pretty challenging for my son to
Yeah.
go through the process when everybody else had been guided through.
Yeah.
And here he was,
Well, I think it makes sense for the college essay to be within the English class.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's quarter two work right there,
Yeah.
right? In order to work on that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff that we've been trying to tool with, and I'm glad they're taking a look at it to figure out how to get that into other things. But you're right, we were hoping that it would take, some community service aspect of it, but yeah, we'll have to try that in a different way, so.
Is there like a list of what's in this seminar or?
Yeah, there is
It's
a
down
syllabus.
below.
Yeah, keep
Yeah.
scrolling through.
Keep scrolling, it's down on what's covered each quarter.
Yeah, and it's got the course syllabus in the packet and stuff like that too, so. All right, anything else for EIC? All right, Amanda, superintendent's report,
Yep,
You're
so
up.
you do have my written report in your packet. I just want to keep everybody apprised on the Galapagos trip as it's quickly approaching. We did have some concern 2 years ago when the kids went that there was a level 2 travel advisory in Quito. That travel advisory has not changed. It still is a level 2. There are some speckles of level 3 throughout Ecuador, but not in any places that our kids will be visiting. If the board were to decide to cancel this trip, I do think last time there had been some discussion about whether or not the board should step in and cancel the trip. I think you probably ought to do that pretty soon, or we're in some trouble on
Right.
refunds. But at this point, I sent my oldest son to the trip, and he felt totally safe. It wasn't an issue. Tim's
Mine-
got one going.
You got another one
Oh,
going
wait,
this year?
Liz,
Yeah,
did Liz
no,
go
that
too?
one's going this year,
Adeline's going
so
this
I feel
year.
comfortable.
Abby's going. You'll break Abby's heart if you cancel her trip.
That's right, that's right.
But, unless I feel very comfortable sending my son, Tim, I
Yep.
don't know about you.
I feel fine, yeah.
Comfortable sending out
Yep.
on.
Mhm.
So, I'm not sure we need any more discussion, but I just want to keep let the board know that we are tracking it, we're watching it. If things take a turn, we will let you know and look at the trip differently.
I guess what I'm saying is with my child out there, and with your child out there, we'll be acutely attuned to the situation.
Acutely attuned, Tim, would be a great phrase to use, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the second piece that you'll look at is,
Jeez.
all the legislation.
This is the
that's-
longest report you've ever given us, Amanda.
Yeah, it's a good copy and paste. But I thought it was fair just to
Yeah.
make sure that you all are sort of seeing what is out there and what is coming at public education. So this is just something that the New Hampshire School Board the New Hampshire School Administrators Association is tracking, so these are of priority to them. Many of them are duplicates. There's live links should you want to look on any special ones. Then you could go in and provide testimony. I think there were some a few years ago that I gave you the direct links for to go in and say, tell people, I do not support this piece of legislation. The ones that are of of concern the most, in my opinion, have to deal with the open enrollment, and I believe we are, with the warrant article, we are handling that best to our ability. The other one is the SAU consolidation piece. That is of extreme concern. There are pieces in that bill, that piece of legislation, that would create one elected county superintendent. So elected for the county. Which would mean there's no need for any of the school districts to have a superintendent. Who would you ask would get all of my job? You,
Yes,
or the building principals.
yes.
And here's where it really becomes unfair. In that bill, it does still say that if a school district wanted to, they could hire in a superintendent to perform those services. So you're talking now about a further divide between wealthy districts and districts that are not as wealthy, right? If you're a wealthy district, of course you're gonna keep a superintendent, right? So smart move. If you're a struggling district, you may not be able to do that. So a lot of pieces are uncertain about that. We've been asked to look at you all, see if you all would be willing to do testimony on that, even in a written piece. So I'll have more information as that goes on. So I appreciate your support with that.
I just having taught, you know, for the number of years, I mean, I never had a superintendent who couldn't walk by me and say, you know, how are you doing, Diane?
Right.
You know, how are things going? And if it came down to, you know, by county, that superintendent couldn't know every teacher in every school. And I think that is such an important piece, is, you know, because if I had a concern, I could go to the superintendent. You know, if it was something I couldn't go to the principal for, I'd already been to the principal and they said go to super, whatever, you know, and that superintendent knew who I was, whereas that just,
Well, and oversight too. I mean, like, that's a really positive example. I mean, knowing of like
Yeah.
problem
Oh, yeah.
teachers or problems that exist within staff or conflicts of personalities or those kinds of things. I mean, like, it makes
Oh,
it
yeah.
impossible to have any kind of personal relationship or understanding of what's happening in each school.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that comprehensive list, Amanda.
Yeah, just a couple things.
The School Board Association is also tracking those as well. So, you know, watch your legal updates from the School Board Association. Yeah, a lot of bad bills in there, that's for sure. All right. Next on our agenda, we have Business Administrator's Report. We have your written report in the packet there, Michelle. Let's see, the floor is yours. Take it away.
My report, I just put in there at the December Finance and Facilities meeting, Dalvin Estrada from Johnson Controls. He attended, he introduced himself, he answered some questions. He's going to come back for the March meeting and present the energy report. The last one we received was in fiscal year 23, so I did ask him to come to do that, so he will be there that day. Earlier this month, the State Office of School Finance released their preliminary 2025 cost per pupil. That is attached in your informational items. The statewide reports cannot be published until the remaining data from Claremont is received, so I'll have those once that's posted. And then just in accordance with the Students First Act, which is the HB 1265, it mandates salary reporting and school expense transparency. The reports include 3 line graphs and 1 table. We did publish these in the Valley News on January 21st, and they will be available at the SAU and the Enfield Town Library. It'll be 7 days prior to the deliberative. Not the deliberative, the vote in March, sorry.
Oh, the March vote. Okay.
March vote.
All right. Any questions for Michelle? And you can see also we have a copy of the warrant, the final warrant articles. I presume that the citizen petition one, everybody was found to be a legal voter.
As was confirmed by the supervisors of the checklist.
One.
rather than-
All right, great. All set with that. All right, bus routes update. Do we have anything specific, anything new?
We do not.
All right, but we do have, everyone's getting to school on time now.
They did put a driver on M8.
Good.
Which means that everybody is getting to school on time, and the high school buses are clearing at about 4:10.
That's great.
It's the Canaan Elementary School. We are still short 1 bus there, so.
And we have finance facilities next week, so hopefully we get a more detailed update from them on drivers as well. All right. Up next, deliberative session discussion. Deb, our moderator, is here. Welcome. So it'll be your meeting, as always. But yeah, take it away. What do you want to talk about? We would usually invite the moderator here to this meeting to make sure we're all on the same page.
Right, we want to be on the same page.
Yep.
Sure. So, I assume the lawyer will be there.
Yep,
Yes, Peter is confirmed.
Peter will be there.
Are we planning to meet with him prior?
We will be meeting with him 8:30.
8:30 here in the library, or?
No, there'll be
Conference.
the childcare.
Oh, right, they're gonna have
So
childcare.
we'll probably meet in the conference room
Okay,
up at the top.
8:30, everybody, on Saturday morning, this Saturday.
right by the office.
Yep.
By Steve.
Oh,
Okay. I know I'm gonna meet with Amanda on Friday to make sure the setup is how we want it, so we want the lawyer beside me.
Yep, that'd be good.
He thought that was a good idea. I'd also like to have space so I can get out and not have to walk around everybody.
That would be nice, yes.
Not that I don't need my steps.
No, whatever works best for you for flow and everything, and we'll be up on stage with the budget committee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the clerk, the school district clerk will be up there with us as well.
I'm as close to you as I can get without being in the way.
Okay.
So you can see me and I can see you if you have any issues.
There you go.
Other than that, wherever you would like.
Great. So who is going to speak to each article?
I will speak to a bunch of them. I will speak to Article 5 on open enrollment.
Yeah, Scott will speak to that, so he'll speak first.
About that, yeah.
Yeah.
About open enrollment?
No, oh, that's right,
The
that's
budget.
before the budget.
Yeah, sorry, we put that one before the budget.
Yeah.
How ridiculous is that?
I know.
Anyway, okay,
So yeah, Scott will speak first on Article 6, the budget.
so you're gonna do open enrollment.
I'll do open enrollment though, yep.
Do you want Amanda to do it instead?
She can do it with me.
I think Tim will start and then
Yeah.
I'll jump in
Yeah.
if needed.
All right,
And then I'll also talk about Article 7, the negotiated agreement.
okay. All right, and then the two capital reserves.
Facilities, capital reserve, would anyone like to speak to that? I can speak to it again if no one wants to. I'm happy to get up and speak to it again. But if anyone would like to speak to it, that's fine.
Because you can just point out the CIP
Yep.
in the budget book. It's not in the middle. Oh, there it is. It's almost in the middle of the book. You can point to that and say those are all the projects that we're planning to do, that don't affect the budget. That's why we did the CIP.
Why don't you pencil me in, and then if anyone feels
Oh,
compelled, if the spirit moves them or
Okay.
something.
Hey, Tim, go for it.
So
That's
start
right.
Saturday morning.
That's
And then
right.
cafeteria equipment?
But that's an easier one. That's the same thing as capital reserve if you want to talk about a lower hanging fruit.
If it makes anyone feel better, I've done your homework.
Yep.
So I have a list of the items that we put into the grant and their costs.
Oh, wonderful,
So they
thank you.
weren't, that we put into the grant and the grant was not approved. So
Oh,
I have all your homework done. So these would be things that didn't get paid for through grant funding, so we would be looking to pay for them
for cafeteria.
through the CIP.
Through cafeteria or all the CIPs?
I'm sorry, just the cafeteria.
The cafeteria, okay.
Okay. And then our.
We just have to read a list.
Hmm?
I can coach you right through this line.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Laura, you're on.
I like
All
your
right.
spirit.
Yeah,
I like
all
the
right.
spirit, all right.
Yay. And then the article by petition, I assume
I think I would like,
petitioner will speak to that. and
Yes.
have 10 minutes to speak to that.
they have 10 minutes to speak to it? Okay.
And then, of course, any of these articles may be amended except for the teacher negotiated agreement.
Right.
So there may be amendments, just like there were last year.
That's right. We will limit reconsideration of votes after the financial, after each article, I think. We usually play it by ear with the crowd, but I'm happy to introduce a motion to limit reconsideration, which means it closes that question. Because if we don't limit reconsideration, let's say we do Article 6 for the budget and blah, 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 this $1 million, and then we go on, we're down to like Article 9, and then something between Article 9 and 10, someone's like, I make an amendment to Article, I want to reconsider Article 6 because like 100 of their buddies showed up and they want to retool it because it's a big mess. So
Yeah. definitely.
limit reconsideration.
I'll be looking for that motion.
Okay. Well, Brewster's there, I'm sure he'll jump at the bit to do that. He loves doing that motion. So,
You missed out last year.
I like it. Hey. All right. Anything else? Any other questions for Deb? Or any other things that we got to organize for Saturday?
Do we have people filling anybody from Orange running?
I don't know of anybody in Orange.
We've only had a few people show up. They still have until the end of the week. So
Right.
we do believe that there are candidates
Okay.
coming for every
Okay.
position.
Oh, good.
Yes. If you are in the other towns, though, you're all set. You're gonna run again, you said, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you just gotta get your paperwork in by Friday.
I already did.
Oh, all right,
She's one of the
wonderful.
3.
All right, good, love it.
Oh, wow.
We have any contested races?
We'll find out on
Not
Friday.
at this time.
We'll find out on Friday afternoon. All right.
The goal is to have one for each.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Yep, I can say that Grafton, the school board position, has, Brewster has signed up, Laura has signed up. So those are 2 of the key positions.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah.
Good deal. All right. Anything else for Deb?
If you need me to do Article 8, I'll do Article
All right.
All
It's
right,
like, yeah,
all right, Glenn.
Okay, I've done your homework too, Joe.
yeah, she's got everything there for you too. All right, cool. Thank you, Deb.
All right.
We'll see you Saturday morning,
Right.
8:30, up in the conference room.
I'll be here before that.
Thanks, Deb.
Cindy will be.
All right.
Thank
With
you.
regard
Thank
to,
Yeah.
with regard to Article 10, the petition,
Oh.
obviously they're
Yeah.
gonna speak to that, but like, are we responding to that just, or how does that work?
I think I would like, Amanda, do you want to respond to that, or?
I think we open it up and I think then we let the public respond.
Okay.
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we gonna put it up on a board so that they can see that there's like?
Oh, yeah, everything will be up, broadcast, or put up on the
Because if
screen.
it
when
passes
it's-
as is, it actually has grammatical errors.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
that's not a great look for
No,
us.
no. But it's a petition, so.
Okay.
Yeah, but every article will be up on the screen up behind us, which is another benefit of being up on the stage. So you can look at that, so.
Yay!
Yeah,
Including the definition of proficiency as it relates to that petition. I feel like.
Yes, we do have a definition of proficiency that April presented
wonderful,
in EIC.
wonderful.
That will be like,
We can
somebody
put
will
that
have
up.
it at the
Sure.
record. Great.
Yeah, what that means.
Yes, because it does not mean what you think it means.
Exactly. All right. Up next on our agenda is the audit. So we are looking for an approval of the audit, correct, Michelle? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 draft audit. All right. Did you get that done? I motion for a second.
Got it, yes.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
All right. Any further discussion on the audit? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? All right. So we'll sign. If I got to sign something, I'll sign whatever. So. All right. Up next here, we got our school calendar for the 26-27 school year. As Amanda alluded to last meeting, Hartford is, because Labor Day falls really late, is a little bit of a challenge, trying to figure out how to thread our needle, right?
Correct.
So we're looking right now, starting on the 26th?
Yes, Hartford does run 26, 27, 28, and we have so they do that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have typically shifted that to a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This year, it was doing the 3 days, then did not block off that 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like there was a need to shift to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We could do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
and then our Hartford kids didn't miss a day.
Yeah. I prefer that too. And then then the following week, they will get that Friday before Labor Day off. So they get a 4-day weekend around Labor Day. Looking at early dismissal in September, early dismissal in October, day off for Veterans Day, then your Thanksgiving holiday. And then this has a full 2 weeks off at Christmas time. Is that what Hartford is doing as well?
That's correct.
Yeesh, that's a lot. I mean,
It's
although
also helpful for families
It is.
in order to plan for travel, so.
it is. It's just a long time. And when people are like, why are we still in school on June 17th? Well, it's because you didn't want to be here on December 21st. Like, that's the trade-off. And this puts us at a last day of the 15th of June, with graduation on the 11th. This is also putting us on the New Hampshire calendar for February break. Is this also the New Hampshire calendar for April break?
I don't believe it is.
I think it's still the Vermont calendar for April break, where we're back a week from everybody else in New Hampshire, which is fine.
1, 2, 3, 7 weeks in between break.
Yeah. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. So,
I mean, it's broken up
Yeah.
relatively well.
yeah. Anything else, Amanda, on this?
I would make one suggestion. So we follow the typical early dismissal, the March, so the 2 March days, if we could look at those.
Oh, yeah.
Typically, those are the 3rd week in March, so that's
Oh, yeah.
where we plot them. However, that does not match with Hartford. I would like to suggest at this time that we look at moving the early dismissal to the 25th and the teacher workshop day to the 26th. And that would put us in line with Hartford's calendar.
Only question I was gonna ask is, did it come up in negotiation, did we wanna move that March teacher day to the fall?
I think we're gonna keep the March teacher day there,
For
and
this
then
time.
we were looking at adding that day in October.
Oh, right, okay. So for 2 teacher days?
Yeah, what did we settle on there, Tim? Do you remember?
I
Did-
wanted-
Did we get that second day?
I wanna say we did, because we left it kind of, I don't wanna say squishy, but I thought the intent was to move it from March to the fall. But I could be wrong, I could have mixed it up. But we
I
can
think
bring
you're
this
right.
back the following meeting.
I think we'll bring it back to the next meeting, because I think you're right. I think, well, this is tricky, because it would need to pass. This is tricky, right? Because
Yeah.
it's gotta pass by the public. The
That's
public's gotta, well, they vote for the monetary piece. Let me bring it back next time.
Okay,
Because I do believe we removed the teacher's final day, right? They came one day after school.
that's right,
So I think we could place that in October.
that's right, we moved it, yeah, so it's not after the end of the school year, that's right.
So we'll look at putting that in October.
So there was no financial piece of that.
So there's no financial piece,
You're right.
but if it doesn't, if the public doesn't vote it in, let me check with Peter.
Yeah.
Because we could be, sort
So
of.
you okay with, we table this calendar for now?
Yeah,
Do
let's
it in 2
table it.
weeks? Okay, all right, so we're seeing no objections, we'll just table the calendar, we'll bring this to the next meeting. This is why we bring it to a meeting, so we can catch these things, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, next on our agenda is a Royals Athletic Boosters donation of equipment for a high jump mat and pole vault poles in the amount of $16,000. I am looking in my packet for a letter or anything.
Yep, you do not have a letter,
All right.
so we will need to table that.
Okay,
also.
let us table that. So no jumping, no pole vaulting, guys. I'm assuming this is for outdoor stuff anyway.
It is. And
We
we
gotta
gotta
work the snow out there to lay it on anyway.
we gotta do some more logistics on some of these pieces.
You're one of the only rooms you can pole vault in. All right. All right. Well, that makes this meeting just fly right along. Next one, we have second reading. So I make a motion for second reading and approval of policy VIII, supervision of construction clerk of the works / project manager. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, there we go. All right, any further discussion on this one? This is just putting into place that any kind of construction that we have over 1.25 million, we will be hiring a clerk of the works to basically be the general contractor and oversee it. It is our past practice. We had a clerk of the works here to do this in addition and renovation, and it is just really good practice to hire one, and now it makes it so that going forward, everybody, that this district will have to, so. Because you never know what people in the future will do. All right. Any further discussion on that? All right. All those in favor of second reading and adoption of policy VIII, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right. Agenda for next meeting. We'll have that gift from the athletic boosters. We'll have the school calendar. We'll have some committee reports. We'll talk about the deliberative session. Looks like we'll have spring coach nominations. Quarterly reports, because the semester is just wrapped up for everybody here. So. Cool, and anything else, I'm sure we will think of that. All right. Flip this over, public comment. Hello. Personnel, we have our green sheets here. As you can see, so I'll entertain a motion on these nominations and resignations.
I'll make a motion to accept the nominations and notification sheet as printed.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Any discussion on these? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions. All right. And we do have non-public for reason B. Hiring. All right. Would anyone like to make the motion to go non-public?
I'll make a motion to go into non-public.
All right. Second?
Second.
All right. Joe? Yes. Tim? Yes. Diane?
Yes.
Dawn?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
All right. We are in non-public. Thank you very much, everybody.
Hang on, just a sec, I gotta go pause it. Since streaming the basketball game.
Oh, yeah,
He's
please
up
pause
there.
that. make sure we're not on. Thank you, Abby. Signatures on there. Oh, you got a non-pink pen?
I have a non-pink pen.
We should send it to the state one time, pink pens.
I would gladly sign.
Actually, we should all have purple pens.
This is
Oh, you're right.
estimated cost per
Those are
student
estimates.
by